Hello. There's a river of life that's flowing from his throne. A river of life that's flowing from his throne. Won't you come on in and see? This river will set you free. Way ah hey ah, way ah hey ah highway. There's a river of life that's flowing from his throne. A river of life that's flowing from his throne. Won't you come on in and see? This river will set you free. Way ah hey ah, way ah hey ah highway. There's a river of life that's flowing from his throne. A river of life that's flowing from his throne. Won't you come on in and see? This river will set you free. Way ah hey ah, way ah hey ah highway. There's a river of life that's flowing from his throne. A river of life that's flowing from his throne. Won't you come on in and see? Excuse me. I hope you were able to finish that. It's very dry in here. Sorry about that. Perhaps you remember that song from last time. I hope you did. And sang along with me. So today I felt compelled to look at a community local newspaper, which is what we do very often in our program. And as I guess kind of to be expected, the native paper hasn't come out. So our faithful local paper has, though, where I live, the Boyle Macaulay News. So we're going to, so as I said before, what we would do, I would bring a copy for each person in the group and have you look at it and pick an article that kind of speaks to you that you might want to discuss in the group. So we would take that time to do that now. After we've smudged, we would already have smudged. And so I would choose, because I do write every month in this paper, the title of the article that I wrote for this month, and this is May 2020. It says, "It might be grief." When we feel we have no control over much of what is going on in our lives, we can unconsciously feel vulnerable. People handle vulnerability in different ways. A positive way to look at it is an opportunity. We have choices to make. Most people did not see COVID-19 coming, or the Wuhan virus. The governing systems have dictated how we should, and in most cases must, mitigate the perceived crisis. Experiences during this time range from fear to anger to victimization to resignation. One thing to consider is grief. Many people realize they miss a myriad of things, especially civil liberties. When you miss something, grief can be triggered. Whatever seems to diminish us physically, psychologically, or spiritually, any unwanted experience can be grieved. Grief often presents as illness, physically as nausea, weight change, or sleep disturbance. Emotionally, it can look like depression, anger, loneliness, fear, guilt, or anxiety. Mentally, it can present as poor concentration and poor memory. Spiritually, you may be doubting and examining beliefs. These symptoms of grief can often frighten or confuse people. It does not mean you are weak or going crazy. Fortunately, something can be done about this, and here are some ideas. Think about your life experiences. What have you lost and never grieved? For example, moving, losing a job, not getting accepted in school, or missing a funeral. Unresolved grief accumulates and can explode when you least expect it. Keep the slate clean. Consider your cultural and spiritual beliefs. Have you answered for yourself big life questions? What is the meaning of life? What happens after death? Does God exist? When does life start and end? When encountering trauma and chaos, having answers to these questions can be a source of strength and help keep you balanced. Another thing, develop a ritual or ceremony. This is often done to mark life transitions and milestones like birthdays. It can also be done to get a sense of closure. Release something, give yourself permission, break through untruths, and affirm your self-worth. Whatever you need to keep yourself healthy and walking in a good way. And then lastly, join a community for support. There are so many choices. Sharing circles, 12-step groups, men's groups, seniors, survivors groups, faith groups, public speaking, self-help groups, and it goes on. So this opportunity of self-distancing and social isolation to get to know yourself. If you do, you can learn to recognize grief and embrace the initial discomfort of it, knowing it is a process and you are not going crazy. So we talked about this last month and talked about a few different things. But I guess for me, and as we're beginning to step out and the restrictions are being relaxed and some of the stores are opening again, the streets are getting busier, more traffic, some people are going back to work. That doesn't mean what is going on inside of us stops. We will not be going back to the same kind of life exactly that we had before. So examining what we're feeling and why we're feeling it will be very helpful for our personal health and wellness. I guess something that I've been thinking about during these last weeks is my mother, who passed several years ago. I know someone, both of her parents live in a senior's residence, and her mother needs someone to come in and care for her. And, she has been telling me some of the issues about not being able to go and visit her parents and things like that. I'm glad that my mother's not around at this time for that experience. And so I've been thinking a lot about my mother, different kinds of things. So that's what's been kind of going through my mind during this last couple weeks. And so I'm wondering what you're doing. What are you thinking? Now that we're into May, May the 17th today is, it's people are starting to plant their gardens, get out, get some air, some fresh air, and that's wonderful. And I'll be doing some of that too as well. And I guess I'd like to just include a little thing for today from our Pilgrim's Almanac by Edward Hayes. I've brought this to your attention before. So today being May the 17th, it is, you might be surprised to know, Pie Plate Day. In 1873, a New England baker, William Russell Frisbee, begins to sell his pies made in circular plates with the name Frisbee embossed on them. And a little side note, Richard Knurr trademarked the name Frisbee for the present-day plastic toy. Now, the bakery is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut, near Yale University, And when the students begin tossing around the empty pie tins in the 1940s, it becomes a case of, as Sherlock Holmes would have said, "Ah, Watson, the game's afoot." So this is a good day to remember that instruments to prepare food, as well as instruments of prayer, can also be fun. Pie Plate Day. That was interesting to me. That's one reason why I like this particular almanac. So a few little things to think about today. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you'll make your own little video, share your own thoughts, things that stand out to you. It's much better than, scrolling all the way down your Facebook and, well, next thing you know, an hour or 2 hours gone by and you've just read few little snippets and actually haven't even visited with anyone. So thank you for this virtual visit. The Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Be blessed and prosper. See you next time.